So I'm going to split this video into 3 parts. We're going to have part 1 where we are prepping the backflip and we're doing everything we need to get in a good position to be able to do it. Part 2 is going to be us trying to perfect your technique and work on some slightly more advanced techniques. And part 3 is going to be finally easing our way up into the backflip. As always, I recommend that if you can, please try this trick with someone who's done it before and can do it consistently and is pretty experienced in trampolining. If you don't have access to that, it's fine. It's just going to be better if you do. So we're going to start working on prepping the backflip, and then we'll work on getting over the fear of going over your head, and then we'll work on proper technique for it. So the first thing to prep for the backflip is you're just going to do a little butt drop and back up to your feet. You're going to do that. You're going to just do that for like 5 minutes till you feel comfortable and you can do it consistently. You want to make sure you have your legs out. Don't do any of like this stuff or anything. I don't know if you can see my legs, but keep your legs straight and out if possible. If not, stretch a little bit, and this part isn't necessary, but it definitely helps a lot. The second thing you're going to want to do is work on your back bounce. So what I recommend, if you've never done this before and you're brand new to trampolining, start on your butt, then go over your back. So it'll look something like this. And then either go back to your butt or back to your feet, like that. And then once you get that down, practice it a couple times. You can practice going, squatting, and then going to your back. You don't have to do the kip up. I just like doing it. And then eventually you can focus on falling and getting up, but eventually jumping onto your back. There's 2 ways to put your head. I'll show you both, and I'll show you which one I prefer. The first way is to put your head forward so that your head never really touches the ground. And that's good if you're doing more advanced rotational stuff. However, I taught myself some of these tricks, and the way that I found was most comfortable for me is to keep your head level. Because if you do this, your head will hit and that'll hurt. If you do this, if you tilt your head forward but not far enough, your body will hit, then your head will hit and that'll hurt. I found the least painful thing is just to keep everything level. Make it all hit at the same time. And yeah, that's just what I do. The next step that we're going to be working on is back rolls. So what you're going to do, you're going to squat down like this. You're going to go on your butt and roll over your shoulder, just like that. You're going to squat down, roll over your shoulder. Preferably you would land on your feet from the roll, but if you can't, that's okay. You can land on your knees like this. And just practice that a couple times. Never, ever, ever go over your head. You go over your head, you're going to hit either this or this. And you're next to get all scrunched up, and you're not going to like it. I promise you now. Make sure you always go over one shoulder. You're going to want to go from this shoulder, or whichever shoulder you prefer. I go over my left shoulder, so I go from my left shoulder to my right hip, and it goes kind of in a diagonal pattern. The next step is working on, it's called a pullover. So what you're going to do is you're going to use that back bounce that we practiced earlier. But you're going to throw a backflip into it. You can start off over your shoulder until you get enough bounce to go over your head. If you go over your shoulder, it won't look quite as cool. And that might be the main reason that some of you guys are doing this. But you're just going to practice doing the pullover until you can get it consistently and you can go straight over your head. That wasn't really straight over my head. You guys get the idea. The next thing we're going to work on is going from your back and bouncing higher. So you want to go from your back really, really high up, and then you want to do the backflip. So it should look something like this. Feel free to get as much bounce as you need for any of these tricks, specifically this one and the final backflip. If you have a trampoline with a net, this will be easier. If you don't have a net, definitely recommend that you get one. This has saved my life more times than I can count. So is that one over there, which I'll show later. But yeah, so just practice that a couple times, get some bounce, do the flip. Make sure you tuck. If you do it in kind of a layout position, you're either gonna catch your feet here, or you're gonna hurt something over here, or you're gonna hit the springs on the way down. The point is you should always be tucking. Unless the goal of your trick is specifically to do it without the tuck, always tuck. Now moving on to the last, second to last step, we're working on hacking a backflip. Now what that means is we're gonna work our way up from doing this to doing this. And the first way we're gonna do that is we're gonna practice just going over your shoulder. And you can go to your knees for that. You're kind of working on that back handspring motion. Eventually you might be able to get it to your feet. Like that. You want to practice that until you can do it comfortably. Then once you're comfortable with that, you're going to work on your just standard back handspring. That was not a very good back handspring. And after you do that properly, then after you can do that properly, you're gonna work on hacking the backflip. Kind of just going over your shoulder a little bit. Make sure you know how to bail. Don't put your arm in a position where your elbow could break, or your wrist could break, or your shoulder could break, or your neck could break, or your back could break. Watch some safety videos for how to be safe on a trampoline. I'll be posting some of those very soon. So like, subscribe, and comment if you want to see those. Make sure you hit that bell so you get the notification for when those videos arrive. And yeah, so eventually you're going to start working your way up to being able to do the backflip. And you're going to start it just from kind of going from your back to your knees. We already worked on the pullover. If you can't do the pullover, I would pause this video, go back, practice it. There's another trick called a kaboom, which might be easier, might be harder depending on who you are. I personally find it harder. I can't do a kaboom. I can do a one-leg kaboom, which is my signature trick. It's where you go down on your back, you slap one leg on the ground to get momentum, then you tuck over and do the backflip like this. That's my signature trick. But if you guys can't do that, that's fine. Just practice your pullover. And then eventually by now you should have courage going backwards. If not, it's fine. This process may take several days, but just practice your back rolls, your pullovers, and possibly even your kabooms. And then when that fateful day arrives and you feel like you're ready, you gotta trust yourself. Here's some of the most important things when you're doing your actual backflip. First most important thing, safety. If you don't have a net, if you don't have a spring mat and your net is on the outside, please be careful. Please get a spring mat. I wouldn't try this unless your trampoline is like that one and it's like 16 feet. Anyway, when you first do a backflip, you're going to go back. I will tell you right now, you might have all of the skill in the world. On your very first backflip, you're going to go back quite a lot of distance. My first backflip, I went all the way from this side of the trampoline, all the way over to this side of the trampoline. And it was on that one, because that's my old trampoline. This trampoline is about half the size of that one. I moved probably 8 to 10 feet on my first backflip, so make sure you have enough room. If you don't have enough room, you have a net that's either on the inside like this one is, or it's on the outside and you have a thick spring mat like one down there, which I'll show at the end of the video. But yeah, just make sure you have enough space, you're safe with it. Make sure you're confident. If you're not confident in doing a back roll, if you're not confident in doing a pullover, please, and I cannot stress this enough, please do not try to do a backflip. You have to be able to nail those prerequisites before you're able to do a backflip. All right, the second most important thing is getting your tuck right. And we'll practice that right now. What you're gonna do is you're gonna do something called tuck jumps, and then you're gonna do tuck jump and falls. First tuck jump, you're gonna just jump, go down. jump. So you're gonna try and hold that for as long as possible. Don't hold it so long that you can't stand up, but like hold it for at least like half a second. And second thing is tuck jump and falls, where tuck jump and you fall on your back. You should be comfortable doing that by now since we worked on back falls and everything. But yeah. Now there's really two ways to tuck. There's the first way, which I started out with. It's called the single tuck. It's when you tuck like this. And you pull your knees up to your chest and you hold that. Like that. The second way, which I find more comfortable, is called a double tuck. It's called double tuck because it's better for double backflips, triple backflips, quadruple backflips, quints, and so on. But the point is it gives you more rotation because you tuck shorter. You tuck into a smaller ball. Now double tuck gives you more rotation, and it actually helped me learn how to do a standing backflip. Like that, and I figured why not use it. So your backflip, you're just gonna practice this over and over. Probably not gonna nail it your first try. My first try looks something like this. I went to my knees, I flailed around a lot, and yeah, eventually you'll practice control, it'll become part of your muscle memory, and then you'll be able to just do that. Notice how I'm not moving, barely at all. And that's because I'm tucking tight, and when you tuck tight, you don't move. The reason you move is because you do your backflip, you're like this, tuck's really big, and all that momentum makes you fly back like a spring. If you tuck into a ball, think about what happens when you throw a ball up and spin it. If you throw a stick, it's gonna go way off in the distance, but if you throw a ball up, it'll land pretty near where you were at the beginning. So you wanna tuck as small as you can, preferably with double tuck. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you watched to the end, congratulations, you're awesome. I hope this tutorial really helped you. I'll be posting more stuff like this and posting some trampoline safety videos if you guys don't have a net or don't have a spring mat or anything. Please like, subscribe, hit that bell, and leave a comment for any videos you want me to do in the future. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Thanks so much for watching.